Hey there, y'all. This is Jack, and today we are discussing Kagurabachi Chapter 14. And yes, the author did something I was hoping he would do, and I was afraid that he wouldn't do. Chito's still very damaged from his fight with Sojo, and he is very, very helpless. And I like that because, again, Sojo delivered massive damage to Cheeto, and Cheeto is just not in the right place. He can't even swing his sword correctly. So, all those guards we saw dead in the previous chapters in the base that Cheeto invaded, well, it turns out Sheba's with him, and Sheba's been helping him take down the guards. So, I really like that. I like that a lot. And yeah, let's just jump right into the review, shall we? All right. Okay, we cut to this spread right here of Chihiro and Sojo just facing off. And I never realized this, but it turns out their beef seems to be about zippers versus straps or belts, I should say. So yeah, very interesting. Sojo has the belt on him, and Chihiro has zippers. So I don't know what do you guys choose. I've always been a zipper kind of guy, but I'm not gonna lie. I mean, belts are pretty cool. So yeah. All right, for real. Let's jump into the review. All right, because of the first page where we actually see Chihiro talking to the Kamurubai and Ikuto, essentially about what we learned in the last chapter, where I was afraid also that Chihiro didn't tell them about the sword depending on their wielder, they could get stronger essentially through their wielder. And yeah, Cheeto's essentially telling him that essentially with the his dad theorized that it's theoretical and it is possible, but they're not really sure, but they do bring up that it does make sense since these swords were the ones that ended the war, so it's more than likely possible. So they gotta be keep an eye on that. Which again, I like that a lot. I like that Cheeto's talking to them about that. I was afraid he didn't, but he did. Then we cut back to modern time. We're at outside of the base. She was just walking outside as he notices a shack. That he's like, all right, yep, there it is. Because then we cut back to when Chihiro and Sheba are talking to that gangster, the one that he captured, essentially talking to him about the one of the hidden bases and also where Shark could be. But essentially, that hidden base is a storage room surrounded by several sorcerers, so it won't be easy to obviously go there, even with Sheba's skills, right? And essentially, they have another goal there. Essentially, to go there is also Cheetos. Well, the main goal is to save Char, and then the next is whatever is inside that that shack, which I'm presumably is probably the Dentist Stone, the Sunstone that helps them make the swords. Of course, if they again, not that Sojo and his group could really use it. It's just it's best to get it out of their hands. So no one else could use it. So good on them. That's what I'm assuming is inside the little shack. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm really assuming, to be honest. And as that's going on, we cut to Sheba. He's heading out there, and then we cut back to Cheetah on the balcony, just watching the sorcerers as he remembers what Sheba told him. If there's any sorcerers, yeah, don't get into the fight. Just wait for me to get here. And so yeah, he's doing that. Cheetah's just watching. As he continues to watch, he's just overhearing the guards just talk about essentially just some random stuff. As one of them said, well, it's about that time. Starts today's season. I'm gonna go watch. You've watched her regenerate plenty of times already. So yeah, pretty messed up. They're talking about watching Char regenerate. That's nasty. Oh, I can imagine just watching the limbs grow. That's no, not even limbs. Her body, because they like completely. I don't, again, they mutilate her body enough to where she's able to keep regenerating. So that's pretty nasty and gross. But all right. But of course, Cheeto's immediately attacked from behind, and then we cut straight to Sheba as he hears sorcerers arriving behind and in front of him as he realizes what they already found me. And yep, they're right there in front of him. And Shiva's as they're like, yeah. So who are you? And Shiva just thinks to himself, well, you guys do look pretty tough. Must have got something important in there. And he thinks to himself, should save this for later and go back to Cheeto. Of course, that's not gonna go so well. If Shiva makes a run for it, they're obviously gonna chase him. Yeah, so yeah, Sheba wants to head back with Cheeto, but of course this is not going to go well because Sheba did tell Cheeto to wait for him to come back, and Cheeto knows, or sorry, Sheba knows that Cheeto's not in the best condition to fight. Oh boy, this is not going well for our heroes. And then we cut to Shar overhearing some guards and doctors talking about there's an intruder here, and Shar immediately thinks, is it Cheeto? And we cut to Cheeto facing off against the guards. As one of them says, "Hey, guard, what are you doing?" One of the sorcerers says, "Well, I smelled the scent of blood, so I went to go check it out, and I found this guy." And we see Cheeto is really, really struggling here. He's like obviously not in the best condition. He's already sweating out of breath. As we see this one ball, like this flower bloom right underneath him, opens up, and a sorcerer immediately comes in to attack him. Cheeto obviously dodges out of the way, but we got several other sorcerers coming in, attacking Cheeto, and this one big guy that's wearing a kabuto, hits him with his fist and says Cheeto, slamming against the wall. And the guards and sorcerers are like, well, looks like this is all wrapped up essentially. And the two that look like twins are saying, hey, look, he's barely standing. I heard from Sojo you're the lightning blast that took on the lightning blast at full blast. It's a wonder that you can move though. Is it just you're just about to actually die at this point? And Cheeto just kind of ignoring him, just thinking to himself as he thinks, should I use a Nixie? No, there's too many. If I pass out without finishing him off, it'll all be over. And then he thinks to himself, and he does Kuro, where he shoots a strike, and it hits the light bulb that takes out the light source, which is actually pretty good for him. As Cheeto just immediately just bolts and runs away, and the sorcerers are like, "Whoa, he's on the run." Well, that's sad of him. Yeah, he came to save the little girl, but he's running away, and all the guards, like the whole place is already on full high alert. Cheeto ran for it. He obviously couldn't run very far. He's off, just resting a bit, thinking to himself that if he could only use his left arm, then his body was in better shape. He'd be able to perform better. But then he realizes, no, I just can't think about the what ifs. I can't worry about me at my full strength. I gotta just focus on the now and here. Then his mind just kind of wanders off to Shar, just saying how much she likes him and how much she trusts him, and that just starts breaking Cheeto down. Cheeto just starts breaking down a bit, where he starts tearing up. And then we got to a flashback of his father, which I want to say his father reminds me a lot of Ishin Kurosaki, Ichigo's dad. Just the way they act, it just reminds me of that. Just I don't know, I just barely thought of that just now. Yeah, I was always like, his father does act. His father acts very similar to another anime dad I know of, and yep, Ishin Shiba. That's me though, but hey. And then we cut to his father's just saying, Cheeto, it's getting chilly out. And Cheeto's just sitting outside the balcony. He's like, hey, what's up? And Cheeto just says, oh, it's nothing. I was wondering, is there any point? I watch you work every day, Dad. I also study from the books about sword forging, but the more I learn, the more I'm sure I could never be like you. And the dad's like, yeah, well, not even close. And Cheeto just says, your son's being all vulnerable, and that's all you can say. And the dad just kind of gives him like a look, like, oh, okay, yeah, I see where this is going. But you're logical, like your mom, Cheeto. All right, so first time you're hearing about the mom, that's pretty neat. I like that. You're so serious, and that's why you get all like this. It's great that you're so serious about what I teach you all. I appreciate that, but don't get too fixated. If you try and always follow me in my footsteps, it'll be a waste of time that you were born as Shuhiro Rakuro. And Cheeto just kind of stares off as his father just laughs and says, "Become like me? Ha! Don't make me laugh. How can you be like me when you can't when you can't do so many things?" And Cheeto just looks at her and says, "Was that supposed to be an insult?" As he says, like cooking and cleaning, and he says, "Yeah," and caring for the goldfish and washing dishes. And the dad says, "I can wash dishes barely." Well, anyway, when you start to get it like this, keep a cool head and be more fixable. I'm saying you gotta find out your own shape and make it with your hands. And Cheeto just kind of smiles and says, now you're losing me. And his father just says, like this, whoa, look at this one. And Cheeto starts tearing up as his father says, "Wait, let me see if I can do it with my feet." And Cheeto just starts smiling, says, "Enough already." So essentially, Cheeto's father just telling him, there's probably gonna be things you can't do like me, but there are things that you're gonna be able to do that I can't, and that's what you should be focusing on more. Of that you should essentially just do what you can, and whatever you do, what you could do, just do it to your fullest, to your best, even if it just means cleaning up, washing dishes, feeding the goldfish. Yeah, you're not gonna be 100% like me, but what you can do it, and you'll be great at it. So essentially, that's what it is. Just do what I can't, essentially. And I like that. I like that little lesson that his father's telling him. Just being goofy about it, and just telling Cheeto that. And Cheeto just remembers, keep a cool head and just focus on it. As we cut to Cheeto, modern time, just rubbing his eyes, saying, "Keep a cool head." As we get the doctors talking to the bodyguards with in front of Shar, and they're like, "Oh, hey, what's going on over there?" And the guard's like, "Oh yeah, the guy, yeah, he ran away with his tail between his legs." And Char hears this, and she kind of just looks down, and it's sad. She's sad, and just an image of her mom just kind of fading away as the doctors just kind of look at her and just says, "Yeah, there's no hope for you." It's really, really messed up, man. I was like, "Come on." Then we cut to the guards looking around for Cheeto, and one of them's like, "Hey, are you sure that he didn't just run out of the castle?" And the other guy's like, "No, the blood is still fresh in the air. I know he's around here somewhere." And then the goldfish start arriving. As they're like, "Wait, what in the world's going on?" As we hear Cheeto's words, "Inten has three powers: Kuro, long range attacks; Akai, absorb; Nishiki, cloaking." Which Nishiki also interesting because I read that translation. It also could be referring to a flag that people use, especially when they're during fires, like firefighters, equivalent to Japanese firefighters would use. I thought that was very, very interesting. That's what it is, cloaking or like a flag in other translations. I thought that was neat. But as Cheeto continues, and be more flexible. This is the end. Sorry, Shar. And then we cut to a double spread right here. The characters just facing off against Cheeto with a bunch of goldfish swimming around. As Cheeto just looks upon them and thinks to himself, "I'll put an end to all of this." Kuro, shred. End of chapter. End of chapter. So holy freak. Okay. Wow. Before I even go into speculate, I want to speculate on this last chapter, on the last page right here. But let me rate this chapter. I'm gonna give this chapter an 8 out of 10. I like that we do see consequences to Cheeto absorbing the bombs from the assassin, and also damage from Sojo when he unleashed the electricity and tried to blow up the entire block, and Cheeto just absorbed it so he wouldn't kill innocent people. I like that we were seeing consequences for that. Cheeto's actually messed up, and even the guard said here, even a normal guard could take on Cheeto. So yeah, Cheeto is just very, very damaged, and I like that. I like that we're seeing consequences for his actions. That yeah, he took in attacks and saved a lot of people, but he's very damaged. He's struggling to even to probably even kill one guy. So I like that. And now Cheeto coming up to all these guys here. I'm assuming we're probably gonna see Cheeto use the new technique and probably kill all these guys here. But he's more than likely gonna be down and out, and Sheba's probably gonna have to save him. But I honestly don't know what's gonna happen. I legit don't know, because Cheeto says I'm sorry, Sharp. I'm gonna put an end to all of this. I'm assuming Cheeto's gonna be risking his life on the line. Like if this is an attack that drains several, like many, 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 many years on his lifespan, I'd be okay with that. It just comes down to I hope that it does play a part, or like whatever attack he uses now in his damaged state and it has consequences. That's good stuff there, and I really like it because again, even Cheeto is not even able to use his arms all that well. So this has got to be a good attack, and it better have some major consequences. All right, that's what I want. So yeah, that concludes my review of Kagurabachi Cheeto. Man, keep it going. You can save Char. So anyway, that concludes my review. I really like this chapter. 8 out of 10. Very good. I can't wait to see Sojo. I hope we see him soon, but I wouldn't mind, um, taking care of all of this, where they're about to save Char, and then cutting back to see Sojo, how Sojo's going up against the Konobai. So yeah, that concludes my review, and I hope you guys have a great day. Take care. Later.